Universal Spirit Center is extremely busy. We're always doing things, and take the time to go to our webpage, universalspiritcenter.org, and see all the wonderful things that we have going on. I know that the Rev is getting ready to start a chakra class that'll be happening, and there are a host of other things. But today, the way technology said, this is what's happening. The third Saturday of the month is third Saturday with the Angels at our sweet Margot Alora's home. For information on that, info at universalspiritcenter.org. Next Wednesday, we will have movement meditation with the 5 elements. It is absolutely powerful. That is not streamed so that people can feel free to let themselves go. We have this entire space, and it's really beautiful. More and more people have been tuning in, coming in, and taking that time to move their body in a way. And even if you don't want to move your body, you still reap the benefits if you just come and sit and be in that energy. And that is led by our sweet Kathleen. So I'm looking forward to seeing you, and I know it's summertime. Yay, 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 yay. I love the summer. So we're starting a little bit behind. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my sweet friend, Selena Maitreya.
Good
Hi,
evening.
hi, Selena. How are you?
Did I jump the gun?
No, you're perfect.
Good.
Absolutely perfect. So this divine angel, I'm sharing your book with one of the one of the many here tonight. I'm blessing all the chairs, blessing, blessing, blessings.
Thank you.
Um, there's some beautiful stories that you share in your book, and um, Emily was actually sharing with me a story about another woman that had a head injury and the process that it took her through. Um, so I know you are excited. The book is out. It's on Amazon. People are in. They're reading. They're connecting. What is your first vibe that you're feeling from the release that you've let your baby fly?
Oh boy, it's a big one. Yeah, no, it's great. I just came back from my first book signing in Minneapolis at
Mm.
Barnes and Noble and leading my first workshop based on the book at the Hope Interfaith Center. Did another book reading there as well. We've already got 10 five-star reviews on Amazon, which is fabulous.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's amazing. I'm very excited. I've been waiting so long to get this material that is so helpful to people out to people. So I just couldn't be more grateful, Gino. Could
I'm
not be more
so
grateful.
excited for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Um, I haven't read the entire book because my schedule's been crazy. But
Hmm.
one of the stories that I was immersed in was I think it was a son and a mother that were having communication conflict. The I loved how the son finally got that the relationship had changed, but that didn't mean it had to be a struggle. She was having, if I remember correctly, health issues,
Hmm.
and I love how he making the decision that he could be a better son. This could be a better situation. It did not have to be the anger, the frustration, the fight that neither one of them could enjoy the time that they had with each other. And I think that's a powerful, powerful observation when that happens, that you tap in that the way I'm living this, that doesn't have to be the way that it is.
Hmm. Absolutely. Because the book is all about giving us a new understanding and truth around the difficulty in our life. And daily difficulty is not meant to stop us it's
Right.
not meant to be a landing pad. It's meant to be an alert. And so what happens when we're able to be conscious of the fact that we're in a difficult moment or a difficult situation and we choose to respond to it from love, we shift everything. And for Leslie, who you're referring to, Leslie Jean Bar, who
Yes,
is an
thank you.
incredible man. And he has an amazing story. When Leslie was a child, he lived in Haiti, and his father was the head of customs, and his mother was the assistant to the dictator. And nobody wants those jobs, but you have no choice in that situation. And his father had discovered that he was being asked to release the bodies of Haitian citizens who had
Mm.
died to other countries. And he realized that the dictator was actually selling these bodies
Oh,
for medical science. And he couldn't agree to this. So he knew if he said no, he would be killed. So he sent Leslie and his brother and mother to the United States, and they thought they were just going on a visit during the middle of winter. And then
okay.
his father said no to the dictator, and his father was killed.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Leslie and his mother and his brother landed in New York City, and his mother took care of these two little boys in a foreign country forever. His brother became the provost of a university. Leslie has a master's from Columbia in journalism and became a very, very much a well loved photographer and very successful. During this time of his success, his mother developed dementia. So he had
Yes.
this incredibly close relationship with his mother. And when she developed dementia, she became very, as a lot of dementia patients do, she became very abusive and very angry.
Yes.
And so what happened was their relationship, which had been loving and close, became untenable. And Leslie was being called several times a day. And he had to go from Harlem, where he lived, all the way down to Coney Island, where she lived, which was
Mm.
an hour and a half on the train, several times a week, if not a couple of times a day. He
Yes.
ended up giving up his business because he couldn't keep it and care for his mom. So his whole life was unraveling. And one day he just realized, this is the same person I have always loved, even though her behavior is different. And he had this epiphany where if he could just see her as the loving mother, regardless of what her behavior was, he would be able to create a shift in their relationship. And he did,
Yes.
because she was able to receive the love from him. And so she started to be different to him. And that one piece of knowledge and the choice he made to respond to her from love, even though she wasn't loving to him,
Right.
completely shifted their relationship for the rest of her life.
And
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say to add to that that I love how you keep making the point that Leslie had to make the choice first.
Yep.
And that's with anything that we choose to have in our life or change in our life. We have to make the decision first, which is about what we're talking about tonight,
Mm-hmm.
conscious choice.
Yep.
That once we make that decision, and it's not like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then 2 days later, you'd be like, I don't feel like it. You know, the, the commitment must be a vibrational shift that takes place within you. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that that's our topic tonight. I love that story. I thought it was very powerful because people would tell you someone with dementia cannot change, that
Mm-hmm.
that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know the power of frequency and vibration, you will know that you can change any, and I mean any situation that there is. So I'll give you the floor on that. On tonight, our topic is conscious choice.
Well, thank you for that. And I love the fact that you chose to start with Leslie's story because it's such a beautiful example of choosing consciously. And what I thought we'd do, Gino, as we get started and everybody, is just give a little review of what we've covered, and then we're going to move forward with conscious
I
choice,
love it.
just so that everybody is caught up if they followed along. And if you haven't been here before, welcome. We'll catch you right up. So the idea, the purpose of this tutorial is to help you to be able to activate your intuitive body, your soul level, as your guidance system. So when we think of ourselves, we think of me or I, a one-dimensional being, but we're not. We're multidimensional beings, and we covered that in our first tutorial. The multidimensional aspects of who we are include our physical body, our physical brain, two different aspects,
Mm.
our personality that develops in this lifetime, that's a third, our emotional body, our fourth aspect, our intellectual mind, our fifth, our history of pain, which we call the egoic field, which is one of the vibrational fields that is always working within our system. We also have our highest level of energy, which is our intuitive body, our soul level.
Mm.
And we are always either, because you've heard this before, this is not new for you, you're either in fear or love, which means that you're always being activated by your egoic mind, your pain body, the low energy, which is called the low energy, or the highest energy of who you are, love. And so we have been conditioned since the time we were kids the time when we were born, before we even had English language or whatever language you speak, you had the language of vibration. So the language of vibration was exhibited when we're babies through crying, through asking for help, through that vibration of fear. When something was wrong, we we cried. That was all we had to alert people that were our caregivers.
Yes.
So we've always been activated from fear from the get-go, even though the high vibration of love came into our body, the soul level came into our body, and we were born. We also have always had the language of vibration. But when the language of words came into being, regardless of the language we speak, the vibration, the language of vibration was forgotten. As we grew and were raised by our families and our cultures, well, cultures are different and families are different. Almost every culture and almost every family, you're conditioned to respond to difficulty with more of the same. And from that time you were a baby, where you had no choice but to cry for your help when you were in need of comfort or in need of care, that's also stayed with us. So we come to a place in our life where if we want to shift that conditioned way of response, we have to make choice, the choice to activate our highest knowing as our response to love. And what the book teaches us is that when we respond to difficulty from love, we shift the vibration of chaos that's landed, the difficulty has landed. We shift the low frequency of that, and as we're choosing to respond from love, we automatically lose the low vibration and move into the high. Because as we live in the third dimensional world, we know we can't go upstairs and down at the same time. We're
Right.
never healthy and sick, and we're never in low and high vibration. So our work here, Gino, and everyone, is to be able to recognize when we are in low vibration and choose one of the many manifestations of love: kindness, compassion, patience, gratitude, grace, tolerance, understanding, and to invoke those energies as the response to the difficult situation. And then, which is what Leslie did, right?
Exactly.
He was in this difficult pattern with his mother, and he was activated and recognized that he had choice here. He thought he had no choice. He was so inside the difficulty. And that's what happens to so many of us, is we land in the difficulty and we don't know, we don't remember that we have choice. So the book and what we're doing here, we're wanting to learn, how do we recognize when we're in low vibration? How do we have the awareness that we're in low vibration, and how do we shift that? So that's what all of this information is here to teach us. And the first steps of that process is to know that you are multidimensional. And because you have all of these aspects, when you are in low frequency, your job is to check in and see which piece of my multidimensionality is activated now. So you
Oh, I
know
love that
what
you say which
aspect,
piece.
right?
I'm sorry, I
Which,
love that you say which piece, because it's not, you're saying an overall check.
right, exactly. So we go into and we just say, and you'll know, because if you're in low frequency, the ego is activated, right?
Right.
Um, but sometimes it's thinking mind. Sometimes people have monkey mind and they get stuck in the mind. Sometimes the emotional body comes in and hijacks the entire system. So it's a matter of becoming, what we're talking about tonight is the conscious choice that happens when you are consciously aware. So most of us, Gino, are just floating through the world. We know when we're in an emotional state. We know when we have too much thinking going on, but we're not really aware at any point of what our state is. So the first step in this process is to commit to being a conscious person in
Right.
regards to seeing where you are, knowing what your state is, and then to make the conscious choice, which is what we're discussing tonight, to change that, to change the state into a high frequency state so that you can make a different choice.
That's really powerful. And I want to add to that because Reverend Kevin said this on Sunday as well. I'm a huge fan of Abraham Hicks, and they deal with nothing but vibration,
Yep.
and so he made the point because I think people forget or they think that the way we're taught that if we pray for something, and if we really believe it, and depending on what background you're from, and you have, and then they put faith in there. You have the faith that it's going to happen, and then it will happen for you. And all the years of listening to Abraham, one of the things that they've tried to help us understand that when we are in low vibration, when we are in ego, fear, anger, frustration, hatred, jealousy, whatever, we are not anywhere near in alignment with the high vibration. And
Bingo.
high vibration, spirit, light, whatever you're going to call it, is not going to come down to our level and take us up.
Mm-hmm.
It does not meet us at that level. We have to find a way to leave the low. It's a beautiful observation that says, hey, I'm not in alignment with my greatest and highest good.
Yep.
So now what do I need to do? And it's not always that you can go from being angry or hurt to joy and slap happy. But as Abraham says, even if you can go from being hurt to frustration, that's a step up in the vibrational space of where you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think it's a powerful thing for people to recognize that we have all of the power within us, but it is a practice to be able to understand, to be willing not to just waddle in the pain or not become such a victim that becomes our marching banner, wanting the rest of the world to succumb to that, and it just does not.
Yeah, very true. And I love that. I want to add a little to that, if I might.
Please.
The high vibration of the intuitive body within us is the divine light. It's the God energy. We have that within us, but we were given free will
Yes.
when the energy of the divine came into the body. And that free will is the choice to either recognize the free will to recognize the high frequency energy or not. And most people are going through their world not even taking that step, not recognizing that as we go along. What I love about the use of our daily life as the practice pad for this work is it goes back to what you said about prayer. I love prayer. I
Yes.
love meditation. I love quiet. I love yoga. But the idea is, what do we do when we come off the mat? How do we be when we walk in the world when there's so much difficulty and chaos in the world? What do we do then? How do we be? How are we activating our highest frequency? So we always have the choice to respond to any experience in life from the highest level of who we are, but most of us are automatically conditioned to respond to difficulty from more of the same. So it is work, it is a practice,
Yes.
but it's very doable. And the blessing of our daily life and the physical world having so much chaos in it is that we're given lots of opportunity to practice all day long. You're not going to be short on any opportunity to practice this. We're given choice almost every moment of the day as to what frequency do we want to hold here. And I believe it's our responsibility as conscious people to walk in the world with conscious choice instead of just invoking it during prayer or during other times when when we're putting our attention on our spirituality. The idea behind this work is to make your life your practice and to have all of the difficulty become an asset, because now difficulty is a detriment. It's a landing pad, but difficulty can be an asset, because if you can imagine that if every time difficulty arose, you were able to recognize the difficulty, you were able to check in and say, where am I now? Where's my state? And you had a practice, you had steps, which the book gives us, and we're giving you here in these different tutorials. You knew how to move from low frequency to high, which is very accessible. Then difficulty becomes this wonderful opportunity to continually move yourself back into high vibration.
Absolutely. You know, difficulty, challenge, they're all wonderful seeds that constantly expand us from where we are to where we're going. And sometimes, you know, a difficulty can definitely knock you, it can knock you on your butt. And if you don't have the tools and the practice in place, you can stay there for a very long time
Yeah.
before you recognize that, wow, I can change my life. I can change this situation. But always it starts from inside. And you know, I love prayer as well, but a lot of times prayer is used as a vehicle to get something to and I think people get very frustrated when they're like, I've been praying for this and it hasn't come. And I don't think the other part of that, of understanding that we pray to get ourselves out of the way. At least I do. I will say I pray to get myself out of the way. I pray to get I meditate to get my monkey mind out of the way. I have come to understand that it's not the vehicle that I'm riding on to get something. It is the vehicle that allows me to let go of things that keep me from the absolute abundance, the joy, the love that is just constantly pouring over us. If we could only see. I'll share this short story. The other day I was taking a walk and I was having a good time and I saw this little baby. He had to be about 2, maybe 3 years old, and he discovered the bark of a tree. And the excitement that he had about this, it just filled my heart with so much joy that, and he was showing his mom, like, look at this. And he was smiling. And then in that same moment, there was a dog that ran by me that was chasing a ball. And he was the happiest dog ever. He was having the best time. And I thought, you know, these moments are happening every day, all day long. But do we take the time to see them? And it shifted me into such bliss. For me, butterflies come around me when I'm in that state. And 3 butterflies flew right over me. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm in alignment. This is that space. This is the space. So
You know
yeah.
what I call those moments, Gino? I call those moments moments of delight. And we'll get to the conscious choice in a sec, but I want to
Yes.
just hit on this because this is so beautiful. You're absolutely correct. Those moments are around us all the time. The divine is talking to us all the time. The divine is directing us all the time. But we need to choose to hear, because
Yes.
in the third dimensional world, there are so many distractions. But I think it's such a wonderful practice when I speak to my students about this all the time, and I advise them to wake up in the morning, and one of the many parts of their morning practice, before you put your feet on the floor, just say, I am open to moments of delight, and really set yourself in that energy so that you are open to seeing all of those moments that you saw. But moments of delight like that are these little pieces of life that are around us, that we have this little window, this little peek into. That's a beautiful moment. Even last week I walk every day, and last week I was walking, and similar to your experiences, I saw a mother just brush the hair off her child's forehead, and he looked up at her with such love as she did that. It was a moment of delight. And then I'm happy to say a man started at the same time, came and started running in front of me on the walking path, and he had the most gorgeous body in the world, and that was a moment of delight. And so the moments of delight that come up can be a variety, but we don't want to miss them. And conscious choice is what we make when we're choosing to walk in the world with the same level of awareness that we have when we're able to see these moments of delight, because it does take work to come out of the third dimensional world. And what I want to share as we get started, for people who are saying, well, how do I make that conscious choice? What is that about? The very first step in that is to be able to go from just being in your life and having things happen and living your schedule and having your relationships show up in the way that they do, and have the traffic show up in the way it might, and have all of the situations in your life just be there. That's, most people are just walking through their life, just allowing things to happen. But when we walk through our life in what I call witnessing as we be, that practice is the very first step to being able to make conscious choice. So witnessing as you be is a cultivated act where you're consciously choosing to watch your state as you move through your day, which is not something most people are doing. They're just doing what they have to do to get it done. And the way we can start the practice of witnessing as we be is in the morning, before you start your day, look at your calendar and put an alert for 3 times on your phone or your watch, whatever is your alert system. And put an alert for late morning where you're not going to be interrupting anything. I'd say mid-afternoon, and maybe perhaps right before you go to bed. And when the alarm goes off, all you're doing is stopping for maybe 30 seconds to a minute, and you're checking into all those multidimensional parts of who you are. How's my mind? Is it crowded or is it calm? How's my emotional state? Am I jittery or am I at peace? How's my soul level? Am I feeling calm and grounded, or am I all over the place? So you're checking in to all of those aspects, and then you're just going right back into your day. You're not changing anything. You're just noticing. And when you do that 3 times a day, that is maybe 3 minutes of your day, but those minutes are so powerful because you're consciously choosing to take yourself out of the day and check in. And after doing that for 2 or 3 weeks every day, then you can start doing that every hour. And once again, all you're doing is for 30 seconds noticing. You're just noticing. And before you know it, you will be able to watch yourself as you move through your day. I've been doing this practice for over 25 years, and it is ingrained in me the way breath is ingrained. We don't go around and think about the lungs going in and out and think about the chest rising and falling unless we're in yoga or in meditation and putting our attention on that. But that's what the body does. And so when you go through this practice for maybe a month, which is not a long time, at the end of that month, you're going to be pretty much aware of your state at any time. And you need to be aware of your state so you know whether you need to shift your energy or not. So that would be the very first piece that will help us come into conscious awareness.
I will say that I have been doing your breath circles, and they have been absolutely wonderful. Initially I set a timer, and once I got accustomed to that, then I just set a reminder that um, that would remind me periodically throughout the day just to take that 5 minutes of breath.
Yeah.
It's been really very powerful in slowing the mind down.
Yeah.
And um, for me, actually, like, I love this exercise because I was able to hear and feel what I was really participating in. So, yes, love that. I love this.
And I want to talk about that because what we talked about was breath of life, which is what you're referring to. And
Yes.
breath of life, once again, another 5 minutes. And the 5 minutes does not only slow down the mind, it slows down the blood, it slows down the nervous system, it slows down the entire physicality of who we are. And what happens with that is you're able, with breath of life, to not be reactive in situations where you're needing to be able to really have a more measured response as well. And so when you're getting into the breath of life, that's a beautiful introduction to the next step, which is this 1 minute, 3 times a day of noticing where your systems are. So they work independently, but they work beautifully together. And what I love about the work that Spirit gave me, because all of this work, I didn't sit down and come up with this. I am not that wise. I'm a channel, and the divine energy of oneness has created all of these, has given us all of this material. And so what I love is that these practices are so simple to do in terms of doing them. They don't take up much time, and they are very powerful. The piece that is difficult for some people is to remember to do them,
Right.
because we are creatures of habit. And the beauty of habit is once you establish this new practice over and over and over. And I don't know, what is it, Gino? We're told 30 days or 45 days or something.
Yes.
Once you go that period of time, that habit becomes a part of who you are. So taking breath of life, being able to choose 3 times a day to just stop whatever you're doing. And once again, you look at your calendar ahead of time so you're not interrupting your day, and you're taking yourself, you're willingly coming out of the third dimensional world and going to the divine. So when you stop and invoke breath of life, you're invoking your highest knowing, you're invoking the intuitive body. And that is the choice that needs to be made in order for us to do any of this work. We need to have an actual relationship with the intuitive within us. And the breath of life starts and continues that, checking in to our, let me explain why checking in 3 times a day invokes the intuitive body. Because when we look at all of the pieces of our multidimensionality, the only aspect of our multidimensionality that can observe the other aspects is the highest knowing. The ego is so ground into itself, it is so wrapped up in its own filter that it sees nothing but itself. The emotional body has no regulation or ability to examine any other piece. The thinking mind is a product of the brain, which is activated by the frequencies that we're talking about. So the only aspect of our being that can witness the other aspects of who we are is the intuitive. So when you stop and you observe, you're observing from that holy state.
Oh, wow. That, I had not thought of it from that point of view, but that is really, it's something, I mean, because the observer is always with us.
And the
But
observer is that state, right? Is the
yes,
highest state of who we are.
it absolutely is. So, in doing this step, you recommend what, 30 days to practice this step
Yes,
consistently?
and what I would do is I would do 2 weeks of stopping 3 times a day and
Okay.
observing. And after the first 2 weeks, I would then do the last 2 weeks every hour. Just stop for 30 seconds and
Mm,
notice. And that's really all it takes sometimes, is just to do a quick scan. But each time you're doing that, you're invoking the intuitive body. And we need to have a relationship with the divine within us actively. We need to choose to come out of the physical world and invoke that, because when we invoke it, we are bringing it into the physical world. And energy grows within us. Where we put our attention, we
Yes.
are our attention, and what we put our attention on grows. So the more we're going to the intuitive body for breath of life, the more we're going to the intuitive body in the beginning of making this shift, which everyone is now in the beginning of, the more we go to the intuitive body to scan and see where we are, as a life stream, this totality of who we are in the physical world at any point. We are activating the intuitive body. We're bringing it into the physical world, and we're growing our personal frequency, that high frequency of the divine within us, because we're putting our attention on it. And what we put our attention on in the physical world grows in the physical world.
I love that. It absolutely does. And um, the relationship that you're talking about, for so many, the relationship of spirit, source, light, whatever you call it, is something out there.
Right.
It's always something out there that we're trying
Yep.
to attain. It's
Yeah.
that old, I don't know if it's a joke or a proverb that says the fish doesn't know that it's already in the water, that it doesn't have to swim to the water. It's absolutely
I
in the
love
water.
that. I love that. And it's so true, because that's why this work is so powerful. I have seen so many changes in my life and in my students' lives for the last 20 years. And it's so exciting now that the book is getting out there and people are using the material and seeing the shifts they're making, because the whole idea and this new paradigm of spirituality, where we are with spirituality, is that spirituality isn't meant to be out there. We're not meant to hold stones and call to angels. Angels are beautiful. Stones can be imprinted by our energy. We're meant to make our life our daily practice. So we change the world not by sitting and praying on our own. We change the world by being in the world, the energy of love at the most difficult times. And that's what we're taught in this work that we're doing here, which is why I'm so grateful to you, Gino, and the community for welcoming me to come and share this with you, because the mission that I'm on is to help people realize exactly what you just said, that we have the capacity within us and we have the responsibility to learn how to be the love that we are in the world as a response to the difficulty. I mean, think about it. People come to me all the time and they're saying, my gosh, our world, it's so divided, it's so difficult, there's so much difficulty. What can I do to evoke change? And the first thing I say is check yourself. Where are
Exactly.
you in this? Are you able to respond when somebody cuts you off on the road by taking a breath and saying, oh my goodness, I'm going to back off. I'm going to send you on your way with love. I'm going to hope you get there safely. Or are you still giving them the middle finger and cursing at them? What happens when your teenager is all they want? They only come to you when you think all they want is your money and your time, and you're driving them here and there. When
Yes.
teenagers are in that part of their life where they're going through so much and they're not always able perhaps to be loving, how are you responding to that teenager? How are you responding to your partner at the end of the day after you've both had a difficult time and you want some support and they want some support and nobody's giving it to each other? So our first responsibility is to check out ourselves and to
Always.
see where are we in the um, idea and the capability. What are our capabilities in terms of responding to difficulty from love? Because that work is powerful work. It requires an awful lot of our attention and effort to shift the way we are. And being able to have conscious choice in our life is not only a gift to the world, but it's a gift to us because it's freedom.
It,
It's
it is freedom.
total freedom.
It is total freedom. And in the world that we're in today, we have been called to this work to this higher consciousness. I forgot I read something, and the author stated that we are a living consciousness that's evolving in consciousness right before our very eyes.
Mhm.
And I like that call is really taking place right now because it's easy to look at the divide. It's easy to look at the fear, and I know some people that say that the world is coming to an end, and I always laugh and go, we are powerful but not that powerful. We didn't make this world, and so I don't believe that we can end it. Now, what I do think we can do, we can evolve this
Mhm.
consciousness, and it does start with me. It starts with whatever I'm doing, the work that I'm doing. I know in our racial equality project that deals with the caste system, racism,
Mhm.
it has really started to shift me that I can't hold within me a space of anger or hurt or victim and lift up this
Yep.
consciousness to break this system. I have to find or be a space of love. To,
Yep.
to find that link. And it's an interesting thing because whatever we're going through in our life, it definitely does not mean you ignore it,
Yep.
but we are in this. I think we're in the Star Trek age right now, where we're going beyond where we've been, any place that humans have gone before. You
Mhm.
know, with all the technology that is just coming, that will allow us to do so many different things, but at the same time, people are afraid that it will take what we have, and it's getting that understanding that nothing can be taken from you that would leave you destitute. And I don't believe that. I believe that whatever is coming, there is a path for each and every one in this entire world that allows them to move forward. But if you're not ready, if you're afraid, then there will be some very dark nights of the soul.
Well, once again, it's all about conscious choice. That's
Yes.
conscious choice. And for most people, because we have, I really should probably correct what I just said. So I'm going to kind of go back. Let's rewind that a little bit. Thank you. I love that. That was wonderful. So we have the gift to invoke conscious choice. And what happens for most people is they're making a choice, but it's not conscious. They're
Well
just
said.
fear, right? So fear, nobody would consciously choose to be in fear. So when
Right.
we're in fear, we're not making a conscious choice. We're just choosing to invoke that particular low frequency. And we do it unconsciously. And there's so
Hmm.
many times throughout the day we're always going back and forth between our low and high frequencies. Always, 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 always. What we're choosing, what I'm suggesting we choose to do is instead of unconsciously moving through the world, going back and forth and allowing situations and other people and what's happening in the moment to shift our frequency, because that's what happens for most people, is to become a conscious being so that you can learn how to witness as you be, and you can notice where your state is. And then you can learn through the practices we'll be sharing in the months ahead how to shift from one frequency to another. But it all starts with awareness. It starts with being able to notice and choosing and having the interest and the excitement and the wonder and the desire to become conscious of how you move through the world. A conscious choice not only frees us up as we go through the day, but it lays the foundation for our ability to manifest our highest wishes and desires. Because when people have a wish or a desire, if they don't have a vibratory state that can create that and hold it, because you have to be able to hold what you're creating, not just create it. You have to be able to hold it. And so when you're conscious of how you're moving through the world, you have a higher personal vibration. And when that core is at a certain level, it then is able to manifest and hold what it manifests. And we're not told this in 24-day manifestation challenges in lots of places, but that's my experience, not my belief. It's my experience as a spiritual teacher, and seeing how my own personal vibration had to grow, noticing my students excuse me, how their personal vibrations grow as they invoke conscious choice throughout their day. And this is mighty work, because when somebody doesn't hold a door for you and that door slams in your face and your arms are full of packages, your emotional body may kick in, and your conditioned response is to blame that person, is to curse that person, is to, curse the universe. And in that moment, that's the time you want to be able to notice how you are and shift your vibration. So with this work, eventually people are able to witness as they be. They're able to use one of the many practices we'll be sharing and shift their vibration. So even in those moments, you're able to, at a drop of a dime, see your state, notice it, shift, and change it. When I move through the world now, I see my judgment all the time. With all the work I've done, judgment pops up always. But what's different about me is I've done this work for so long, and I witness as I be 24/7. So that as I'm moving through the world, I'm noticing, I'm shifting, and within a half a millisecond, my state is changed. So I'm not putting into the oneness, the field of oneness. I'm not bleeding in negative energy, and I'm not holding it within myself. And so that is a very possible state to get to. And the very first step is conscious awareness and witnessing as you be, so you can note what needs to be changed. Because if we don't know what needs to be changed, we can't change it.
That is absolutely the truth. You do not know if you're not even aware of what you're doing, it's impossible to know what to do. So
Mhm.
as we talk about this conscious choice, and just give everyone an example, because it is something to be aware of what you're doing. And a lot of times, let me just say this, when you start a new tool that can help shift you, what you've been accustomed to living becomes very present, and it makes sense when your monkey mind starts saying, you don't need to do this. This is taking up a lot of time. You got other things to do. And it makes sense because the mind, the brain is like, no, I'm protecting you. It doesn't get that there's a shift that you're actually leaning into. But the consistency is really important. It's one thing I know Abraham would talk about people getting a quantum hit and saying that you don't really want that because then you don't know how you got it. You don't know what you did. So when you practice, you're talking about a practice
Mhm.
that people can do daily, that you will see, oh, I did this and I got that, or I did this and I felt that way. That is true progress because then you're connecting the things together. You're connecting that what you're doing is making it's making a change, not
Mhm.
only in your thinking but in the way you feel
And your
and
vibrational system, your
your
whole
whole
vibrational
vibrational
system.
system. It's making a
Right.
change. So just a little something in case people are like, well, what do
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah. Well, I want to give you a practice that is in the book that is beautiful, that will get you started. So we
Let me
talked
one
about,
second before you do that. I just want to, I will show it again, but I want people to be aware that you can hit the QR codes here to
oh,
order
that's
her.
cute. I love that.
Thank
Sorry.
you. To order her book. Also, Selena's doing a GoFundMe, so that helps support her as she's traveling all over the world, blessing people with this magnificent work. I will show it again, but hit that QR code for one or both. It's also her webpage there that you'll find out more information that Selena is doing. We want to, as they say, put our money where things that support and thrive us. and allow the world to thrive. So this is that divine opportunity.
Well, thank you, Gino. That is beautiful, and I appreciate that very much. I just want to be clear that the GoFundMe is is not for me specifically. It is to help me travel through the country to hold all-day workshops based on the book. And what I
Okay.
want to do is Spirit gave me this mission. I'm to hold all-day workshops at spiritual centers that have agreed to partner with me. And the money that's charged for the workshop does not go to me, it goes to the center. So
Mm,
I'm all about synchronicity. I'm all
okay.
about everybody winning. And so when the spiritual center hosts the workshop, they keep all of the fees. We just did one in Mankato. We raised several $1,000s for them.
Wow.
We had 18 people in the all-day workshop. And my showing up is my gift to share with people. If people decide to work with me as a teacher at some point, that's the piece certainly that I take
Yes.
away. But
Yes.
I want the centers to have the opportunity to not only educate and share with their community this material, but I want them to be able to develop finances to help keep them going. So I need to travel, and I'm not, because of my brain injury, a wealthy person. And it cost $2,500 when I went to Minneapolis for a week. It costs a lot of money.
Right.
So that's what the GoFundMe is for. It's to keep me on the road, to be able to have the spiritual centers make that financial and have
Awesome.
that financial reward. Going back to what we were talking about, when we're talking about the idea of what you were saying, which was beautiful, Gino, of making the effort and taking this on as a practice and seeing the results. So we talked about the checking in and noticing where you are. That's how you start to witness as you be. But there's a beautiful practice in the book called the evening scan. And the
Mm,
evening scan is a practice I'll share with you now. And at the end of the day, there you go, at the end of the day, before you go to sleep, that lovely place where you're just kind of, really relaxed, but not quite drifting off. That's a
yes.
lovely time to just ask the universe to show you your day. You're not thinking in your brain,
Mm,
you're opening up to the divine and asking the divine to show you the events of the day. And
mm,
as they show them to you, you notice your behavior. You notice, oh, here I recognized that I was in judgment and I invoked gratitude. And in that moment, I was grateful for aspects of my life and it shifted me into peace.
mm,
So I noticed that when I was in judgment and I invoked gratitude, it alerted me that I needed to shift my frequency. And so I did. I went to gratitude by really remembering and bringing into my body a moment or a person or a gift I had been given. And I really felt that. And then I shifted. Oh, I saw that. Well, then there's another experience perhaps you're shown where something difficult happened and you responded with difficulty, same energy, and you can recognize what happened. So you ask the divine, show me the day. And
mm,
you notice whatever comes up, you notice where did I change my frequency or where was I in low frequency? If you haven't learned to shift your state yet, where was I in low frequency and what happened? Where was I feeling at peace and what happened?
mm.
Because this beautiful truth that I want to share with everybody is so profound. Our moment when life happens, what lands in our world we have sometimes no control over, but we always have control of our response. And
Yes.
our next moment of creation does not come from the chaos that lands. It comes from our response to the chaos. So if we are still responding to moments of chaos, of which there are multitudes in the day, perhaps, with more chaos, we're creating our next moment from that energy of chaos. But when we're able, which is why we're doing this work, to have chaos land and we're able to witness it and we're able to notice it, and we are actively choosing consciously to shift our energy into high frequency, we are then creating our next moment from the high frequency. And that changes everything. And that repeated thousands of times during the day turns a terrible day into an amazing one.
I absolutely love that. And um, I'm just I'm wanting to ask this question. When you do the scan and you see, say you're really conscious, like, oh, I was in low vibration here, do you judge yourself or do you just look at it and recognize that
Yeah.
there it
That's
is?
a absolutely beautiful question. Thank you. You just noticed. So there's a difference. We're going to talk about this. One of our teachings later on in months to come is the difference between observation and judgment. And
Okay.
we're going to go very much into that. Observation is the act, cultivated act of seeing what's there without the opinion. The
Mm,
opinion is what creates judgment. And
yes.
there are times in the third dimensional world where we need to have an opinion about things. Do I get off the curb now and cross the street, or do I wait because there's traffic coming? Those are times that we need to have opinions. But most of us do not need to have an opinion 90% of the time when we do carry one. So when you're doing the scan, you're just noticing. And what you'll read in the book is once you're done in observing what the day was about, once that picture fades, then you bless yourself and you thank the divine for everything that you are and everything you have the capability of being. And you bless yourself and you go off to sleep. So what are
Mm.
you doing here? You're not only observing so that you can see, but you're clearing your energy field because you're observing it, you're seeing it, you're letting it go, and you're blessing yourself so that energy isn't hanging in your system. And that's a very important practice to clear out the vibrational
I
system.
love that. Say that again so that the energy isn't hanging in your system.
Yes, because once you bring it to light and you see it without judging it, without creating guilt, without being, you're just observing. Observation is a neutral frequency. It is seeing what is there without opinion. And when you see what is there and then you just let it go and you see another vision and you let it go and you see another vision, and then in the end, you thank the divine for your life, for your being, whatever you choose, you bless yourself and you go off to sleep, you are neutralizing that energy in your system and it's not hanging in there as a problem or as some low frequency energy.
Oh, I
And it's a
love that.
beautiful practice to go off to sleep.
And Abraham um, talks about when we go to sleep. All of that is done with. We're in the divine vibrational space that we're in. But as you said, when we don't have a practice, when we wake up, if we don't take the time to even go within or take a time to breathe, we pick it right back up
Yeah.
and we're off and running.
So what I want, yeah, exactly. And what I want to share with everybody as we come to closer to the end here of our
Yes.
teaching are the steps. So you're moving through your life in the day, witnessing as you be. You notice you're in low frequency. One of the best ways to shift that, there are many ways offered in the book, and we'll talk about them as the months go on. But one of the quickest ways I already just mentioned, which is to go to gratitude.
Mm.
Gratitude is such a high frequency energy of love. And so in that moment, you just stop and you just close your eyes and you just breathe into a moment of memory because memory is frequency. And it's a memory
Oh.
when of something you are incredibly grateful for, a person you're grateful for, you see them, you feel them. And the key is to feel it in your body because we are physical beings and the energy is within this physical form that grounds the energy into the physicality of who we are. So you can once again get into this in a very quick way where you just stop and you just think of your children, your friends, you think of a moment, you think of that beautiful moment of delight and you feel it again and then you open your eyes and your state is shifted, because in this physical world we can't go upstairs and down. As I said earlier, we can't be sick and unwell and healthy at the same time.
Right.
So as soon as you stop and you go to gratitude, you are shifting into high vibrational mode, and you are no longer in that moment of judgment or that moment of low frequency. And so that's the process. So for now, I would really welcome and invite everyone to just stay with learning how to witness as you be. And I would love to share a mantra that I created for this teaching that
Absolutely.
that people can use if they'd like in the beginning of the day. So the
Absolutely.
mantra, yep, and you can do it at any time. If you notice you're feeling out of alignment during the day, because these are high vibrational words. And even though they speak to choice, they are high vibrational words that will shift you if you need something very quickly to shift you out of low vibration. So in the beginning of the day, proclaim, I, feeling each word in your body, I have choice. I consciously choose my response to every life moment. Chaos that shows up is my opportunity to choose peace. As I respond to chaos with love, I create new outcomes.
That is
Once again,
powerful. Yes,
yep,
please.
I
I
have
have
choice.
choice.
I consciously choose my response to every life moment. Chaos that shows up is my opportunity to choose peace. As I respond to chaos from love, I create new outcomes. So when we do affirmations or mantras, we always speak as if we are already where we want to be. And,
Absolutely.
and this beautiful mantra speaks as if we are already walking in conscious choice. We are already walking because I have choice. It speaks to the fact that we are witnessing as we be because we're consciously choosing to respond to every life moment. And we're believing and we're in faith that chaos that shows up is our opportunity to choose peace. And we're giving ourselves that example. We're living that experience as we say, as I choose to respond to chaos with love, I create new outcomes. And so shall it be.
And so it is. That is powerful. And if you can, or, if you email it to me, I'll post it on the webpage as part of our work that
Absolutely.
we're doing in conscious choice, and just in the series. I've posted a few other things that you said there,
Mhm.
and it's a beautiful, beautiful gift to give to people, to have something that is so powerful, that's already there, that they can just tap into. Just
I'd be
tap
more than
into it.
happy to. I will send that to you first thing tomorrow.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's fantastic. So as we wind up, as we start winding up, once again, I do want to show. Let me, there we go. I want to show again
Thank
for
you.
everyone to be able to, let's participate. Let's, whether you're here live or if you see it at a later date, whenever you see it, let's participate. Let's um, do the work to raise our vibration, to find the tools that we need. Selena has created a beautiful book, wonderful tools, and in order to continue to grow and to expand and to step into this divine space that we are living in a higher frequency, we have to learn new tools. We have to learn new ways that we can know ourselves, that we can connect with our higher self, and that we can live in this awareness. We don't have to wait until we die to go somewhere, to be in a space of joy, abundance, bliss, absolute happiness, creativity, evolution. All of these things are available right now. And Selena's book is a wonderful book to share tools and guidance and stories. So let's do that, people.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to let everybody know our next month we're going to be talking about words that we speak, words that we think, and vibration. Words and vibration, Gino. That's
I
our
love
topic.
that.
Very powerful teaching next month as well.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And, I sit here in such joy um, that I, I love technology, as most people that know me know. And when it goes crazy, I still want to love it because I got to find a way. And it has really taught me to, I observe, like, getting angry, getting frustrated. That's not going to solve the problem. You have to relax and let it come. Even though
Yep.
you may not know where it's coming from, let it come. And so I just want to say, I got to give a big shout out to the universe. Thank you, universe, for creating this pathway for us to share this knowledge and in such a beautiful way where it's fantastic here in the house. Selena is having a great time on her end. She's not getting echoed out. And
Yay.
you virtually are having a great time as well. So I appreciate the technology that we're able to bring people together from all over the world and to share this word.
And Gino, I want to do a shout out to you. I know that your community knows you and that you are so beloved and for very good reason. But I want to give you a personal thank you for not only creating this series with me, but inviting me in and doing all of the work that you needed to do around the technology that when it wasn't working, you were so gracious and kind and loving. And I am loving this and I'm really excited about sharing with the community, but I'm so grateful to you. And I wanted to just give you a really big thank you. I'm done, very, very grateful for being able to share this with everyone. Thank you so much for all the work you do.
Thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful gift you are. And I accept and appreciate all that love and gratitude. And I love our next month, August, uh, words and what?
Words and vibration.
Words and vibration, baby. Woo, woo, woo. That's fantastic. So, um, I have my breathing circles that I'm doing. I will add my observation from
Mhm.
now until we come back, and I'll report what is unfolding for me. I had kind of started it. I start my day with I do about 3 or 4 30-second, as you said, tap in. For me, butterflies, waterfalls really
Mhm.
transform me, and that
Mhm.
energy, just feeling that. And it's amazing how that brings ease and calm to me throughout my day. So adding this tool, I'm excited. I will I will start tonight.
Well, you've got a month, right? It's a month until we
Yes.
see each other again. So you have those, everybody, until we see you again. For everybody, you can start tomorrow with
Yes.
this whole practice of witnessing as you be.
I
And
love
what
that.
I'll do, Gino, is I'll also send you just little instructions on the witnessing as you be
Okay.
that you can set, you can post as well in case anybody forgets or
I love
doesn't want
that.
to have to listen to this again. I'll just send you little instructions on that practice. And then the evening scan is in the book. So people know what that is. You just, we
Yes.
covered that, but I'll send you the steps for the
I love that.
witnessing so people can have as much support as possible.
I
That would be a
love that,
pleasure.
and it will be posted on our webpage. It'll be on our Awakening Wednesday menu. I will have your beautiful face there, your QR code for your book as
Thank you.
well, your webpage, and these steps, and and checking. Are you keeping up with this? Are you participating? What are you doing? So I love that we're calling everyone to action to go within. So, are there any last words that you would like to say, my sweet angel?
I just want to thank everybody who is showing up for these teachings. And I want to remind you all that what we spoke of earlier is so true. We are the change in the world. And that if we are concerned about the way our world is going, becoming as conscious as we can, bringing as much love into the world in response to the difficulty, that is a huge piece of work. And doing that work is shifting the world, because we're all part of oneness. We're all in the energy of oneness, and the oneness is within us. So each time we shift our personal vibration, we are changing the vibration in the field. I just wanted to bring that to everybody's awareness.
That is absolutely yummy. Love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Selena, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Get some rest and stay cool.
Working on it.
I'm one of the crazy ones. I love the summertime. I love it. Humidity, not so much, but I love the
Yeah.
sunshine out. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for tonight. It was fantastic.
Well, thank you as well. Have a great night.
All right, my sister, you as well. And with that being said, let me just say to our divine community that you know that there are many ways that you can support us. There are QR codes that we have. You can mail a check. You can do Zelle. There are many ways. So we love that you are supporting Universal Spirit Center because of the work because of the love that you do for us. We're able to give that back out. 10% of everything that we take in, we spread out all over to different organizations that are doing things to change the world. So thank you for your love and support. Thank you for being here tonight. I am honored as always to be in this space with you. So know that with that, we have a donor that gave that's doing a matching fund of up to $5,000. So you can QR code, like I say, text, tweet, check. Come Sunday and see Devavani. She's going to be here in the house. I know many have missed her and will be so happy to see her sweet face, to hear her lovely voice, and to be in that divine presence. Thank you for being here tonight. And know that you can always come down and be present and be a part of this energy and light. I want to thank everyone that came out tonight. I really appreciate your support and love as we continue to keep Wednesdays going. Thank you so much. Oh, I think my iPad just went out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good night.
Until the day